Alrighty, this is going to be a fun one. We've got the New York Knicks today for the next team up on my free agency run through. The New York Knicks are a good team, which is much better for me because I feel like for the last few teams that I've done, there hasn't been a whole lot of contending teams to talk about. Which talking about contending teams at times is quite the task. Like, you talk about all these teams that are building up through the draft, you're building up, through your free agencies and stuff. So you can sort of touch on those things. But when you talk about a non-contender, it's kind of hard sometimes to find, the little things you can talk about. But when we talk about the Knicks are a good one. The Knicks are a team in which a lot of people are starting to like this year. Obviously, they've been good for the last 5 years or so. Ever since they had Jalen Brunson on the team, they were a completely new team. They have been a team who has made the playoffs year in and year out. They just haven't been able to get over the hump this year. And I think for a lot of those years, we never really saw them as a pure contender. But this year, I believe that they purely are contenders. They've made a couple of little moves around the edges which will make them a much better team than what they already are. They got Jordan Clarkson out of Utah, finally. Jordan Clarkson has been playing at Utah for the last however many years it's been since he got out of the Lakers. And he's been playing really good basketball. He is a really, really good spark plug when it comes to coming off the bench. He comes off the bench year in and year out, does his same sort of stuff. He scores the ball at a high level. And to see Jordan Clarkson play meaningful basketball again this year will be really good. I'm excited to see it personally. I think he has a lot to offer for teams that are willing to go for a championship like the Knicks are this year. So I'm keen to see Jordan Clarkson and what he can give to this roster. Because the biggest thing that I had with the Knicks last season is obviously with Coach Thibodeau on the team, which he no longer is. I'll get to that in a moment. We'll sort of talk about that and everything that happened with that. There was no bench on that New York Knicks team. They had their top 5 guys in Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Mitchell Robinson. And outside of those 5 guys plus Karl Anthony Towns, I don't know why Karl Anthony Towns just passed my mind, but anyway, out of those 6 guys, they had really nothing. They had Cameron Payne, who in that playoff run last year gave little bits here and there, but he never really gave them any meaningful minutes in that playoff series. You had players by the likes of Precious Achiuwa, who he went through a lot of injuries last season. So it was sort of hard for him to find his feet, especially come playoff time. But they were those sorts of players who are really good basketball players, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to crunch time in late game situations, they're not the ones that you're looking at to go to. So to bring on a player like Jordan Clarkson, he will be able to give you instant offense off the bench whenever you need it. And I think that was one of the biggest things for the Knicks this season is sometimes their offense was incredibly cold. You had Jalen Brunson forcing up shots at some points in games. You had Karl Anthony Towns taking step-back 30-footers at the end of games, which, as good of a three-point shooter as Karl Anthony Towns is, I think he is one of the best shooters to ever do it and the best shooting big man that we've ever seen. Getting him to take a 30-footer in late game scenarios is not what you want. So Jordan Clarkson will be able to give you those minutes. He will be able to give you the good scoring that you need when it is required of him. And if he goes to the bench, so be it. Because we know Jordan Clarkson will go to the bench with the ideology that he has done his job. And he is, he's done what is required of him. You also got Gershon Yabusele, has come out of the 76ers after a pretty reasonable year. obviously, like, it was hard to judge a lot of players from the 76ers this year because there was so much expectation and there was so much build up from the 76ers. For when that all sort of fell apart, they had all the injuries and they weren't playing the meaningful basketball they expected to be playing. You didn't really get to see the right side of a player. So Gershon is a really, really good basketball player. He can give you a lot of things on both the defensive side of the ball. He is a pretty good one-on-one defender. Like, he has the right sort of build for it. He isn't going to get bullied by any sort of bigger guys. But he's also sort of agile enough in the sense that if he gets switched onto a perimeter player, I feel like he will be able to do his job to a good enough degree that he will be able to stay in front of them. That is a huge signing for them. His offensive output, we saw at the Olympics 18 months ago that he is a really good offensive player. He is able to give you things in parts that, whether it be three-point shooting, whether it be getting to the basket, he's able to do that. Obviously, I don't see him in a closing lineup with any sort of this team, but it's a bit like Jordan Clarkson in the sense that it's just bench depth. It is cheap bench depth that is exactly the thing that the New York Knicks needed. Because the New York Knicks, as I said, their bench struggles were the sole reason I didn't have them going a long way in the playoffs this year. And obviously, they didn't lose any of their main guys. They just signed Mikal Bridges to a really big deal, so he won't be going anywhere for the next 3 to 4 years, you wouldn't think. I don't think there's a world where they really trade him away, especially because of the impact that he had in that playoff series against the Celtics, where every time you needed a defensive stop, you put Mikal Bridges on the ball, he is going to get you a stop every single time. You've got OG, who is another really good defender and one of the best 3-and-D guys in the entire association, in my opinion. He gives you absolutely everything you need from that. Jalen Brunson, we know how good he is. It goes without saying how good Jalen Brunson is as both a scorer from the perimeter and his footwork inside the paint for such a small guy is one of the things we don't see from very many players in the association. So he's going to continue to play at that All-NBA level that he gives you. Karl Anthony Towns, he's going to give you exactly what Karl Anthony Towns gives you. If Karl Anthony Towns can get to at least 70% of a good defender, it is going to change the roof of this team dramatically. Because Mitchell Robinson had to put in an absolute shift every single night during the playoffs when he was playing defense. He was that good on the defensive side of the basketball and rolling to the bucket that teams were fouling him to make him go to the free throw line. Candid, he isn't a great three-point shooter. Not a great three-point shooter, not a great free throw shooter. Some of the clips of him shooting free throws in the playoffs were quite the witness to behold. Like, it was a tough watch for the most part. But he was that good that he was on the floor because of that. His offensive output was so bad, but because his defense was that good, Tom Thibodeau was keeping him on the court. Even if he was missing 8 free throws out of 10 that he attempted. It was that good. It was actually unreal to watch. I'm so high on Mitchell Robinson's game and like how good he is. He is literally like a prime Clint Capella, is what I'm basically putting it down to, because Clint Capella back at the Rockets was an absolute freak of nature on the defensive side of the ball. Has the exact same traits, is unable to shoot a free throw no matter what you do to him and no matter what you put in his hands. But it is that good on the defensive side of the ball that it doesn't even matter. So putting these couple of guys around this core, I really think that the Knicks are a contender to go all the way out of the East this year. That is my prediction. I think they are that good that they will make it out of the East this season. because the East, there is a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of teams that are like sort of the halfway there, but they're not all the way there. But I think the Knicks are the team that's going to get there this season. It's basically my take for this season. I've got the Knicks coming out of the East this season. Whether they go the whole way, we don't know just yet. I don't know just yet because I'm yet to toss up on who my Western Conference team this year is. And between Denver and Oklahoma and all those sorts of teams, it will be a tough battle for them. But they are that good that I think they will make it out of their conference. The East's all over the place, and the Knicks feel like the one and only team that is the rock solid for the East this season. That's just my take. Obviously, new head coach. We don't know how it's going to go with Coach Thibodeau because he's gone. Coach Thibodeau was running his starting 5 guys to the ground night in and night out, made absolutely no use of his bench that was there. And Mike Brown, I think, is a much better coach. Mike Brown, I've been high on him ever since he got the job at Sacramento. I think the reason Sacramento got rid of him was ridiculous. Like, it was the whole reason that half the roster didn't feel like it was the same after he left. And when you have a coach like that leave, it really changes a lot of things for your team. I think he will find the best parts of the team. Because Mike Brown is that good of a coach that I think he will stay there for a very long time and he will give the Knicks absolutely everything that is needed of him. So that is my prediction this year. It is the New York Knicks to beat in the East. That's just my prediction. You've got the Bucks the Bucks I feel like are just stuck in a weird spot. They don't know what they're doing. The injury to Tyrese Halliburton is going to throw the Pacers out more than any other team in the league, I believe. The Celtics are sort of in reboot mode at the moment, like they're in a 12-month reboot from their roster to reshape it, retool it. I think if there is any year for the New York Knicks to do it, it's this year. So Madison Square Garden has to stand up this year. Spike Lee is going to be going nuts every night. I'm excited to see everything that Stephen A has to say for this next 12 months because he is going to be going off his head come playoff time. But yeah, that's basically all I've got. It's just a couple of little moves for the Knicks, but it makes them so much better and it makes them so much easier to look at the team as a whole and say that they have this year. So that's basically all I have for today. I've got the Knicks. It's the Knicks or bust this year. So we'll see how they go. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. Getting into the short form content. It's going crazy at the moment. So make sure you get in on that. Yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. Anyone viewing the videos, it means the world to me. Keep it up. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow with the next team, which is another good one, mind you. If you want to do the research, find out which team's next, go for your life, but I'm going to keep it a secret till tomorrow because they are a really good team to talk about. So I will talk to you guys then. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.